So it has a self-config. So I don't want to follow this kind of approach, right? What I really like is the way MyPy does it, which looks more like this. So MyPy is interesting, right? So if you look at the MyPy code base, MyPy has an approach where I don't fully understand why it has a dictionary here. Well, this is a dictionary, this is a set of options here. And then it has these additional optionals, which is a combination of, these are the options that affect the cache, which include all of the per module options, as well as these other options. And then it has these options as fields of the class. I love this, right? Because you can, this is be very great for auto completion, very great for type checking. This is a very nice approach for doing it. So I'm gonna follow this kind of method as opposed to just having a dictionary with arbitrary values in it. We want to take advantage of the type checking and the type safety of the implementation style. So I'm going to draw inspiration from this. I'll start probably pretty simple, and then get more complex. I think the interesting bit is, how do we take the names of these variables, of these fields, and have these names represent what should be. We could use has attribute to check the values in, say, a config file maps to a particular value inside of a field inside of the class itself. So I'm gonna go ahead and probably draw most of my inspiration from this. I don't know what these, produce a comparable snapshot of this option. Yeah, I don't know what MyPy is doing with this type of stuff. Apply changes. Changes is a dictionary of strings and some arbitrary value, some arbitrary other value, let's say. So yeah, I'll just build whatever makes sense for my project, but I want to do it like this, and I want it to be hierarchical in terms of it should automatically try to resolve anything in the config.ini, then environment variables, then command line, in a way that overwrites lower points in the hierarchy. So let's see if ChatGPT starts us off with some useful boilerplate. So we use config. They are suggesting config parser here. OS and sys. So we load the config file, then we load the environment vars, then we load the command vars. This is pretty clean. It'll overwrite the variables. I guess my settings will not use this, but will actually have fields, which I prefer. So here we have the arguments that get auto added. So I have some infrastructure that this would collide with. It's the CLI infrastructure, which this register will generate specific flags based upon the flags will change based upon the name of this function. So if we go to this register, as you can see, we grab the name, then we create a command out of the function itself. Then we have a registry of the commands, which is of type command parser for our name in parameters, etc., etc. We add these args. We auto collect args if we have a param name that's args. So I think, so let me see. Argparse has always been kind of a cryptic library for me to like. So let me just try something with the jack. So wait, let me just make sure I'm on main. Yes, that's great. Cool, I'm on main. So let's do a jack clean and just run jack here. No, not jack. Let's just do jack -- help. So we have these commands. I wonder if I can insert additional options in addition to help here that could come before a command. Is that an elegant thing to do? How would I do that in ArcPass, in this infrastructure? Remember, I wrote this 2,000 commits ago. I wrote this file, so I can't even remember its implementation properly. But yeah, let's just plan this out a bit. All right, so action store true. Man, what is this? If param annotation equals bool, we do this, add argument. So we're adding arguments to our command parser. This command parser, I believe, is what's up, Shove? Welcome. This command parser, I believe, is it's a variable I specify here in register. At the end of register, we return to function. I see. So we're collecting command registry, of course. So we have the registry here. CMD, command parser. Let's see what happens to the CMD. CMD goes here. Let's see. This command parser goes, it's there. So we're adding arguments to the current command that we're processing. I'm trying to see where, subparsers. I see. So these are our subparsers. Okay. So we have our subparsers and then we have our main parser. Let's see what happens to main parser. Parser equals this, probe equals CLI. Can I add to parser what I'm looking to add? Yes, I can. This is argument parser. So I can just add the flags I want. I'm actually adding the settings. I'm adding some global settings infrastructure to this code base. And this code base is a programming language I'm building in Python that essentially wraps itself around Python and supersets Python. So it's actually a pretty interesting implementation. I haven't seen anything like it before, but really the settings infrastructure isn't generalized. Anyway, one thing I did discover here, which is exciting, is I'll have a pretty elegant way to automatically generate flags from, I'll use Python's introspection features to automatically generate options here to add to this Jack. The language is called Jack. To add to Jack to be able to have this unified multi-level approach. So I had ChatGPT generate some boilerplate for this, and it's pretty straightforward. Basically, the hierarchy is, you can see from my query, the hierarchy is to start with a config file, so like config.ini. So you can set parameters in your config.ini, let's say, and then you can also set parameters in your OS environments, environment variables, and you can set parameters on the command line. And so I want those to be the same set of parameters that you can specify and have it load first from the ini, then from the first from the ini if there's any, then from the environment variables of the OS, then from the command line in that hierarchy. So then we could have a centralized settings.py that manages all that. And this is kind of, I'm drawing some inspiration in its design from the way MyPy itself implements its options.py. So I'm just digging right into this bad boy. So first what I'm going to do though is I'm going to make sure that I have these two working, and then I'll work on command line last, right? So, and then I'm not going to do this dictionary nonsense. I'm actually going to have it be fields of the settings class for these sets of variables. So you have a centralized place to manage it, and you get auto completion and as you code, and you get some type safety goodness. So yeah, this is very straightforward, right? You load the config file, you load the environment variables, and then you're just overriding the keys, and then you load the command. This is essentially, this is very close to what we actually want to use. So I'm just gonna start there. Yet very confusing for you? Oh yeah, no worries, no worries. Like, yeah, this is it is a relatively sophisticated code base, and that's because this is a production language, right? Like this language has been a labor of love that's been for the last 3 years. I started a rewrite of the whole language 9 months ago. So there is a version 1, and there's a number of like real cloud software and products built on the first version of this language. But then I realized, like, if I want this to be a forever thing, and I want this to be something that maybe many people use, I'm gonna have to really make some hard decisions about the language. One of the main decisions I made was the language should superset Python proper, right? And I'm doing it in a way where it's out of the box compatible with all of Python's like libraries and tooling and so forth. And it ends up being a lot harder to strictly adhere to all of the semantics of a base language like Python while adding all of the cool features that I've always dreamt about. So let's see. Jack Lang. I'll just call it that for now, whatever. So I have this crazy linter that requires that a certain set of things, right? Which includes these in alphabetical order. Although I don't think I'll need arg parse right now. There's a part that isn't relevant, which is this load command line arguments. This is the only place that uses arg parse. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to comment this bad boy out. There's a couple places, locations in the code base. Why isn't this commenting? Why can't I comment this out? What? Something's up with my auto comment's not working. What the heck? I might have to restart my VS Code. My hotkey for commenting out automatically isn't. Oh, that's not it. What? Yeah, something's up. I'm gonna restart this, but let me just finish some of this work. I don't need this main thing. And this is not import OS. This is really just the beginnings of the boilerplate. Operating system, elemental PQRS TV. Okay, this is an alphabetical. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to restart VS Code because my hotkeys aren't working. What? Jeez. Okay. I hope this solves it. Resetting up hotkeys is a very boring activity for you guys to watch. Let's see. Maybe too much load. Yeah. Okay, it's back. Okay, it's back. Okay. That's weird. VS Code, come on. With the bugs. You know? Okay. All right. So we're back in action. Okay. So I'm gonna comment this out for now. Let's see. We don't need that. And then this. We're not even using sys. Why do we have that there? I'll add those back if I need it later. So these aren't going to pass my type checker. Oh yeah, this is no longer relevant. So load config file, that's easy. You know, one thing I want to do is I want to have the infrastructure. Sometimes I do. I'm very proud of how Michigan has done in the last in the last year, really. So I'm definitely a huge fan of the Wolverines, go blue, and I guess I'm a fan of whatchamacallit, the Lions these days, because the Lions almost crushed it. So let's see. So the interesting thing I want to do here, though, is I would like to be able to have the infrastructure automatically use like those hidden folders that come off of your home directory. So let me see. Let me actually have ChatGPT augment its boilerplate to just do a very standard way of that. Can you change the example to have the config file located in a hidden directory of the project called .jacklang, a hidden directory for the project located in the user's home directory. To use standard practice approach to whatever. Grammar doesn't matter for ChatGPT. ChatGPT is smart enough to read my grammar stuff. What I'm hoping to see here, though, is infrastructure that will, yes, expand user. This is actually the only reason I asked ChatGPT to help with this, because I forgot the API for that. So then I can, well, it should make the, exactly. Make the dir if it doesn't exist, and then the config file needs to be located in that spot. So this is better. This is better. I'm going to take this and I'm going to stick that in here. Okay. All right. And that's in the ini. We'll let it be in the ini for now. We can change that later. I'm going to get rid of these comments and just use, yes, thank you. And then settings is a main settings of jacklang. It's perfectly fine. I'm going to need these comments and these things to pass the linter. Because if you look here, it already likely does not pass the linter. So if I do pre-commit, run all files, it's going to freak. Oh, flake 8. What? What flake? What, how did that happen? This certainly does not pass my linting. This is in settings PUI and jacklang. Let's see. How could flake 8? How can this pass? All right. Does this pass type check? All right, let me just see this. Okay, so my pre-commit probably, my flake 8 probably is excluding settings.py. Ignore fixtures, exclude fixtures, jackgen build, examples vendor. No. The heck? In it. I don't know why this is, no. Jacklang. Huh? I don't understand that. I'm just having some weird issues. Get status. Oh, maybe I gotta add it first? No, that doesn't make sense. Get status, get diff. Oh, it's not added. It's not, could that be why? Yeah, pre-commit might only look for added stuff. Yes, here we go. Well, Jack Parser's freaking, but what else? What? Just Jack Parser? Generated? Generated should be excluded. Okay. Let's get rid of generated. So that should be excluded. So then that should pass, which doesn't make sense because this is not. Oh man. Okay, that hurts my head. Let me just get rid of something that should make it fail. Come on. I just want sanity. I don't know why that's happening. And it sets the path. Inserts vendor, does some stuff here. All includes this. Let's also do settings. From vendor. You should rest. Oh, why? Oh, why? Because am I missing something? I should rest. Why? Is there something silly that I'm missing that you can see? I mean, I could just keep going though. I'll just keep going for now. Settings. Okay. And I'll just ignore the fact that Flake8 is not freaking. I think I need to do a git add first. I do kind of work nonstop, but don't tell anybody. All right. So home dir is expand user. No, too much work. That's why. So many things happening. I know. Shove, I can't remember. You probably know me. Hey, well, it's good to have you. You must know more about me than I You're probably I don't know. I can't remember. Shove, are you on the team? All right. So we got the config ini. We got Jack Lang is what we're gonna go with. Home dir. Okay. And then we should probably have like a preamble on all of the environment variables. So we'll do get env if env is not none. For key and self-config, yeah, no, we're gonna append something to that key, and it won't be self-config. We need to have a very clever way of having the fields. I could make them static variables. Should I make them static variables? No. There might be some value in them not being static variables. Like if settings change midway or something, you may not want. You may want to load settings midway without affecting. So there's cases. Oh, you're a student. Oh, okay, cool. Well, welcome. Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, this is Python. Like this file itself, is probably a good starting spot because the rest of this code base is way too complex. All right. So ensure the configuration directory exists. Of course, that's obvious. Default settings. Yeah, we're not using config. I'm trying to think of an elegant way. I see. What I was gonna do was just do a check. So I don't think I have to overthink this thing. I think there is you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make this a data class. Data class. I'll just make it a plain data class. So from data classes, import data class. Very simple data class, and then I will use the data class syntax, which would be all the options here. And the first options, let me just stick some options here to just start the repo so I can do a commit. Oh yeah, man, that's good. Well, that's such a good practice, dude. Surrounding yourself. You see, one beautiful thing about Twitch and about streams in general is streams give you this unique opportunity to surround yourself with folks that represent what you aspire to accomplish, right? I think this is why gaming streams do so well. It's not just entertainment, it's also like a place to observe and analyze how people are crushing it. And so this is a really good use case for coding. The reason there's so few coding streams, though, in my opinion, one of the reasons, it's not just supply and demand. I think the demand would be actually relatively high. I think one of the reasons there's so few coding streams is coding on stream is non-trivial. You really need to have like like not feel nervous when people watch you do stuff thing. Um, but yeah, welcome. Check it out. I'm gonna be probably streaming for quite some time, and it actually is it's awesome that you get a chance to just observe people build cool stuff. Okay. Well, I think this is cool. Yeah, you tell me. You can tell me later if you think it's like not cool. All right. So what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna find the. Let's see. It's used in a couple places. It's called os.environ. Okay, so let's go. We want to exclude. What is it? Vendor. Yeah. So we exclude the vendor directory so I can see the stuff that's strictly inside of my code base. Okay, so fuse type info uses this one. So I need to try something like this. So first what I'm going to do is, I think on module load, for now on module load, I'll set up a settings off of here, and then I'll export it. So settings equals settings. So it'll initialize on module load, and then I'll do all. Is ChatGPT going to finish this for me? Yes, that's right. Okay, so I'll do this. So then we have settings hanging off of this module, and then in jacklang's ini, I'm going to import elementop from jacklang.settings, import settings, and then I'll have that in my all. So what this does, yeah, this is better. Well, this is good. What this does, I mean, I can put this at the end. This is a little cuter. It's a little cuter to put it at the end. So what this does is it's going to allow me to then say take a situation like this, and then I can import settings from jacklang.settings. No, from jacklang import settings, right? And then I can say if settings dot, instead of this, it should be if no, because this will be checked. This is going to be checked by the settings in it. So we can get rid of this kind of, very hyper-specific code. So we can have this setting be set by both config files, environment variables, and command line. So let's do it. So if settings dot what was the name of it? Oh, fuse type info debug. Fuse type info debug. So we'll do that. So this is better, but of course there's no fuse type info debug until we're here. Fuse type info debug, which is a bool equals false. So now this type is corrected and all is well with the world. So just to get this set up, let me see, is there any, there's more, but I'm just gonna do this one for now, and then I'll go make sure all of these are replaced. So, and then I need like a test case. It's gonna be a pretty beefy test case. So I'll do the test case later. Screw that. So okay, this is fine. So what I was thinking is it okay for this to be creating a directory, and should we be able to specify it before it creates a directory? But nah, it's fine. I mean, as soon as you run jack, it'll create this directory, right? Because I'm calling it here and I'm importing it into jacklang. So it's no biggie. It'll be called config.ini. We're gonna have make dirs. Then we have this nonsense. Now what we're gonna need to do is get, not this, but get the, we don't really need this. We don't need this at all. So we load config file, load environment variables. Eventually we'll have a load command line. So this is load config file. Yep, this is right. Config dir, config file path. Oh, I'm gonna have to update this because remember we did that rewrite? Because this is broken, right? This one's broken because it doesn't know about this thing yet. Which I didn't read through the rest of this implementation. So this is actually self-config file path. Here we have some static kind of nonsense. So, oh, you guys can see that. So here we have a self-config file path, and which makes sense, right, with this change. And I didn't update these other functions, and I'll just do it manually. Settings config file server config type. Okay, so this needs to be config file path. If settings and config parser for key and config parser settings. Let's just make, well, let me finish this. I'll run it and validate that it makes the config dir. Let's see. Oh, no. I wonder if there's a really elegant type-safe way to check. I mean, there is. Yep, I'll just do it like this. For key in settings, self-config equals convert type. Convert type values, data return. Oh yeah, okay, that's fine. Convert type, return this value. So we'll expand this as we go. This is, what is this? I'll just get rid of that. Oh no, let's keep this, but let's just get rid of this and make this. Yeah, let's do that because this will be useful. For key in config parser settings, I can do a set attribute here. Let me just remember how to do this. How do I, if I'm in a data class, how do I get a list of all fields? Yeah, whatever. It's good. Yeah. Okay. We have a data class. We have those. Data class fields, that's it. Fields. For F in example fields, whatever. Fields. Alright, we'll test that. Alright, so let's do fields. If where's self-config? Why is it auto-completing to that? If key in fields self. self. I could do set attribute, but I try to not do that. Let's comment this out. Let me see if there's an elegant way to assign fields using the data class module. A field of a data class object if you have a string representing the field name. So I just want to see an elegant way. Of course, we could use set attribute, but yeah, set attribute. Okay, so it just gives us that. Yeah. Well, are you going to do the in fields? You're going to check if it's in fields? Come on. Just set attribute? That's stupid. Okay. All right. Okay. So if key in field self set adder self what? Yes. The key, this value. Okay, in self key, this is the value, settings key for keying. Okay, that's great. That's great. So we'll go with that. And then load environment vars. Here we'll use, this should always be fields of self. Yep, that's good. Environment value. Key upper, environment variable, typically uppercase, duh. This doesn't need to be 2 lines. Key upper. It doesn't know for key in field self. What type does fields return? Tuple field any? Oh, key in fields. If key is a string, fields returns a tuple of f values. What does this return a string? I'll just finish the implementation and just let it error. I'm going to assume it's a string. For key in field self, environment value equals, let's call it Jack Lang underscore plus key. So anything with a Jack Lang is going to be a Jack Lang config plus key name. All right. If environment is not none. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. But this needs to be that set attribute stuff. Yep, that's right. Okay, cool. All right. Then we'll do this one later. String to bool, y. Return, this is, Jesus. Oh, we want type hints. Is value is string, right? Okay, and then convert type. Yeah, we had that. String. I'll fix this up. I just want to run it and see what happens. Okay, then we have that. So let's run Jack. Okay, this is what we were expecting. Field has no attribute upper, so it's a field type. Okay. Fields. Returns a tuple describing the fields of this data class, accepts data class. But what is this tuple? It's a tuple of fields. I'm basically trying to get it as a list of strings because key in config parser will be strings. Because config parser variable read, once this reads, So the in might be overloaded. I'm just understanding the kind of like API SDK of this. All right, so let's just go get some ChatGPT action going on here. How do we get fields as a list of strings? I'll just say, what's the right way to say to implement if my string in fields self. It should just give me the right answer because my string is a string. Verifies whether a string representing a field name is in the fields of the data class. You can use fields functions, blah. Yeah, okay. Has field. Implement the check method. Field name for if field.name, which is why is this f.name? Where is it? For f in fields. Oh, f.name. Oh, okay, cool. Let's just do if key in f.name for f in field self, so we can get the names of the fields. So let's do that here. Let's do that here. And that should be good. Okay. So Jack ran. So we should have on here, we should have the Jack line. Yes. There's no config.any. I should have it created for you. Okay. So let's just create it. Load config file. If settings, config file read. Does this read like let it not be read or create? Read files name encodings. If instance file names with open file encoding. Self read. Try, accept, continue. Okay. That's not the best implementation. But that is the standard library implementation. All right. They should let you create it. Create. Add section. Okay. Make DIRs. This probably returns. What does it return if it exists? It returns nothing. This returns none. Looks like it returns none. Okay. I gotta go to ChatGPT for every API I want to use. So create a file if it doesn't exist. You can just write, but I don't want to write. I want to just do like a touch. Is there like a touch function? There's open, of course, yeah, but yeah, extend, that's fine. Too many lines of code. Is there like os.touch? Oh no, come on. Just give me touch. Ah, fuck. Okay. Oh, jeez. This is so much. So many lines of code, but I guess I'll go with this one. Method 2 with A is sufficient. Yeah, whatever. This is closest to what I want. All right. Let's just stick that in here. Not file name. Nope. I want to write. Let's write settings /n. That's good. And then file name is this guy. Path. Cool. All right. So let's see. So next time I run this, it should create the file for me. Jack, exit, ls, boom. So now we have our settings, and then the first one is this one. Equals true. Is that sufficient? Let's see. We do have a string to bool. Yes, true, T1. What about caps true? All right, let's just go with that. Let's just go with true. Let's just add these others. Oh, it's lower, value lower in. Oh, okay, cool. So it lowers it, so it doesn't matter. Okay. So this should let us, if I do so I'm just testing manually. So if I go to examples, then I go to, let's say, manual code, and I do like a jack tool, AST, IR, AST, circle.jack. It has no attribute fuse type. Settings.fuse type info debug. Fuse type info debug. It's here. Oh, I have it in it. Oh man. So, although that still should work, this should be posting it. This is Python data class stuff. But it does have that attribute. So I'm importing settings. Settings is an instance of settings, like this. From Jack Lang, import settings. Maybe this is the package, since it's the same. This might be better. Yes. So that's good news. So basically, that's a big AST. Yeah, we have this. We have the fuse type info here. So when we turn off config ini, when we turn this off, instead of true, yep. We set it to be false, whatever. Then it doesn't give us that, right? Yes, so we didn't get that debug output. Awesome. So we just got it working for inis. So that's good. Let's see what else we got going on. Okay, so got it for, dude, it's just wonderful. Wonderful. Good news. So this is, now we want to do it in environment variables, and we want to make sure that it overwrites. So I should be able to do export. I'm going to have to do this all in a test. Why don't I just write the test now? I might have to mock this for the test for this. I could just also not test it and then just be a bum. I feel lazy because I'm gonna have to mock this, like, this file open, and that's just pure laziness. There's just more texting complexity. I'm gonna QA for, well, I should write the tests. Let me do that. I gotta do this right. What time is it? 3:30? I mean, I could just keep coding, but let's just write the tests. Let's write the test. Okay. So let's do this. We have ChatGPT. It can help us write the tests. But let's just create the test harness here. So we have tests here. I can do a new file called test settings.py. I'm going to copy one of these guys, like test CLI. It's close enough. Test settings. Let's get rid of all the test cases. We don't need setup either. So this is test jack settings. And then we don't need these at the moment, or this. We just need test case. Good. Now, what do we want to do? It's easy. I mean, I can just test the settings here, the values of them. Post init, this should be let's do this. Post init will call self dot refresh load. I could call it reload. I'll just call it load. Self.load. Yep. Yep. Nope. Self.load. Okay. So this is good. Okay. So that we can kind of keep reloading it, just in general, because this will just load config file, load environment variables. So we can call that anytime. I mean, some may argue that this could live in any, in post any. And then we would just have these. Do I like that? I like that. Yeah, I like that actually. I mean, it's a little bit more elegant, I guess. Yeah, this is fine. Okay. All right, and then we can have load. Well, let's call it load all. Okay, good. Okay, so our first test. Test settings. We have load all, load config file, load environment variables. I mean, these tests are very simple. It's basically same stuff. Same stuff. Where was that? Fuse type info. Fuse type info pass. All right. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to fuse type info pass to copy this line of code into my test, because we're going to essentially mimic some of this functionality. So we have our settings, and we essentially can load config file. This loads it every time. It reads it every time, so that's good. So I can mock the contents of that file and then validate that this value is the correct value. So that's where we're going to get ChatGPT in this bad boy. Actually, maybe I should implement some of the tests first, and then I'll invoke ChatGPT. No, this isn't for pass. This is for settings. Okay. And so what we can do here, ooh, some of it is off screen for you guys. My bad. I was going so fast I forgot to update things. All right, so that's our settings at PY. Let's just shrink this bad boy over here. So we have our settings. We're gonna get our mocks sorted, but it's basically settings, load config file. This is really simple. Settings, load config file. Yes. Yeah. No. No. Settings. I want you to do it again. Load config file. So let's do true for the first one, false for the second one. We'll mock before each one. Let's just do a quick assert that it's false. No, that's not gonna really work. Oh, I can mock it from the get-go. Okay. So let's assert it's false. So the thing about mocking this is, yeah, this is unnecessary. So let's mock it first. All right. So ChatGPT, why don't you help me here? Can you add code to this test to mock the contents of a config.ini file, assuming it's in a hidden directory of the user of the user's home directory called jacklang. This should just implement the whole thing for me. Go do it. Do it. Improve my productivity, please. Come on. Just give me the answer. Don't care. Oh, come on. Don't give me all this. Okay, mock that patch. Yep. Open. Sure. Okay. This looks right. Yes, this is good. Yes. Yes, this is right. Why is this indented? Oh, we're withing it again? All right, I might have to make some tweaks here, but okay. So basically, yeah, this is easy peasy. I'll just make that a one-liner. It's so short. Yeah, it's much better. A little cleaner. Okay, so we're gonna do that. And then we gotta do our mock patch stuff, which is yeah, whatever. Okay, let's see if this built-in's open, mock open read. Okay, yep. This is a context manager for it, so we'll do that. Oops, nope. We're just trying to tab it in, and then tab this in, and then that's good. And then we can do the same thing again and just change it to false. So we should be able to do this, and then this, and then just assert it's false. I think this is it, right? That's our test. I'll leave that alone. Let's run it. pytest-s-k test settings. Go. Beautiful. Okay, that was it. That was easy. But let's say config, test config. Test settings config. All right, so we did the test. And then let's do the environment variable, which is somewhat similar, but instead of this and this, we'll just import OS. And then we will do OS. Yes, yes, ChatGPT. I mean, Copilot. Thank you. Thank you, Copilot. That was smart. How did it know? Yeah, this is exactly what I want to do. Except it's not load config file. It's load environment variables. That's a long name. Let's just do this. We're going to change this to load env-var. Env-var. That's good enough. Oh, right, let's make it plural. Okay, that's great. So load env-vars, and what do we do now? So this should be it, right? Nope. This needs to be. Let's see if. No, 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 no. How could you be so smart and then so stupid? I just edited it over there. Env-vars. Now you can do it. Let's see. Yes. Okay. Now we're gonna run both tests. No, there's two tests. What are you doing? Oh, same name. Let's do env. Let's see it. Yes. Boom. Two tests. Pass. Sweet. 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 Now let's do a test that. Well, we don't need that. We're overkilling the test. But we could do a test at the. Let's just do one. Just one more. Just one more little one. It'll be fast. It's basically kind of a combination of these two. And we'll just do like a flippity floppity. So we're gonna do test precedence, settings, precedence. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna test that. We're gonna in here do load all, right? Load all. These will be load alls. And then, but what we're going to do before the load all is this thing. Oh, but we'll flippity floppity it. So we're going to set this to true. Then we're going to set that to false. Then we're going to do that and make sure that it's false. And then we're going to set this to true. Wait. We set this to, no, we're going to set it to true here. And we'll do it up here for fun. And then we'll make sure it's true here, because we're doing loads all. I should unset these at the end of the function though. How do you unset them? Why do I have so many? Oh, I need to get rid of this one. That's precedence. When we do this, we need to unset. Are you gonna finish it for me? OS? How do you unset it? Jeez. Let's see. Yeah, that's technical enough. Just go. Just go. Just go, just go, just go. I bet you it's os.onset or something. Onset, and told you. Alright, okay, cool. Let's do that at the end of both of these. And let's do it here too. Okay, that's good. So now we have 3 tests, and they all pass. Okay. All right, so if I was to switch this, we should have some fails. So I'm testing my tests. Yes, Okay. Okay. Validating the test is actually testing something. All right. Okay, so we're good to go. So these two are actually done. Yeah, this is actually done. This is sufficient for, what is this? Config update? No, who cares? This is junk, but I'm gonna rewrite this. When it comes to the fancy implementation, this is interesting. We only have digits for integers, and then if value lower in true false, then we do this? This calling string to bools seems like some hallucination nonsense. I think we need to expand this. Let's see if this is gonna autocomplete. 1 0. Yes, yeah. Y yes, and 1 0. Yeah, I like this. Return lower in yes, true, Y. One. We're just taking the yes values from here. Yeah, that's all of them, right? 1, Y, yes, true, true. Okay, those are all in there. Okay, cool. So this is a little bit more robust. This isn't ideal. Because what if you have some other flag where you need the string, you know? But I'm gonna go with this for now. We'll think about it for later. String. Now let's get a nice string representation. This is a great Copilot use case. Okay. Let's read this code. So we're gonna join with new lines, all of the names, and then all of the attributes for field and fields. Yeah, this is good. Okay. That's good. That's good. This is all good. This is a commit. Tests the stuff, and then this is what we need to fill in. Now, unfortunately, I wonder if there's a way I can incorporate some code that's been contributed by someone else that was working on this problem, because I don't want to demotivate people. Ah, fuck. Let's just run the whole battery of tests while I think about that. For some reason, I like to run tests over here before I commit. I don't know why. I really should just put this here. Okay. All right, so I'm not gonna think too hard about that. I'm gonna commit this, clock this win, and then I'll probably move on to the juicy part, the juicy challenging part, which is implementing this to work in the existing CLI infra, overly fancy, not overly complex, but overly fancy, hyper elegant infrastructure for the CLI, like decorator processing function signatures to generate command line arguments that's currently in. So this is looking really good. These tests still pass. Good. These tests are still working. This is a halfway done PR from one of the contributors to the project, and he's making some tweaks. I wonder if it's done. It'd be nice to merge that. Ugh, but it'll probably be done tomorrow. I just gotta leave these skips. All right, I'm gonna push. So this is directly to main. There's only one person that can make these kinds of pushes. It's the BDFL. The BDFL can push to main, can commit to main. Status. Okay, we got some new files. Settings, yes. Test settings, good. We modified flake8 to get the generator out. Modified. This is good. Oh, this is interesting. Because we left, basically these changes leave settings in a state of printing oh no, wait, my settings, my config probably says true. My local config probably says true. Let me just validate that super quick before I push this. Where was that? Config any. Let's just code.jacklang. No, it's false. WTF. Why is this printing? Why is this printing? Why is this debug input printing? Oh, it must be my tests. Like these tests must leave settings in a state of true. I should always end with an assert that it's false, I think would solve this. It's this one. It's this one. So I should just swap these. Okay, I'll swap them. Oh, the onset needs to be at the end. So I'll swap that. And then I'll make sure that these tests pass with the swap. And then I'm not going to run all these again. I'm just going to run settings and testing tools. And I think I have to put these in quotes. Does that work? This is supposed to work. No, this is test settings, and that's supposed to work. Maybe not with the quotes, but the thing is, you need something. I think you need the quotes. What? I'm trying to run these guys. Lang tools. Oh, whatever. Oh. Tools? Wait, just tools? Test settings and tools? No. Tools. Thank you though. Thank you for the suggestion. I mean, I'm pretty sure it works. I'm just gonna do all of them. I'm gonna do all of them. And then I'll just do all of them, and I'm going to commit while we do all of them. And then solve. If this doesn't fix it, I'll solve it. I'll solve it after git diff. Okay, generated, that's good. Settings, these are all good changes. This one's now down there and a prettier. Although I might remove this one just for cleanliness. Because we're not, I don't need to export this. Let me see something before I commit this. So we're going to do init jacklang here. We have settings here. We import it here, but this actually doesn't come out properly. So I just directly go to the settings files like this now, which is cleaner, and so we don't need to do this init nonsense. Well, that particular init nonsense. So that should be fine. Let me just run the test settings first. Okay, so that's still good. I'll do the git diff again. Finish my little code review of my of my commit. So that's good. Settings. Okay, it's a very, very clean change. This is a non-error error because it doesn't error on CI, on GitHub CI. So this is just in my environment, and it's a mystery. I should make this a skip while I'm at it. Let's do that. So let's see. Let's do a try. Try here. Accept assertion error. No, don't do another. Sorry. Let's do a skip. Self.skip test. No. This error only happens in Jason's environment. Just joking. All right. Okay, so that's fine. Let me just test language again. And it only actually, yeah, it's a skip now, so that's good. All right, this is a clean change. Bug in the code. Yeah, I know, dude. You gotta love Copilot. It's like, oh yeah, well, it's definitely chat GPTing. Yeah, what it thinks is good. Git add dot git commit. What's this called? Feature settings infrastructure v1 is in. Oh shit. We got type errors. We got linting errors. I knew we should have linting errors. I knew it. I didn't know why we weren't getting these earlier. Let me just validate. Pre-commit. Well, pre-commit's going to see it. So OS is imported, not used. Is that true? What? OS? Where? Oh, it's over here. Okay, let's get rid of that. Let's see, import statements are in wrong order. Oh yeah, settings, element of PQRS Oh yeah. So this should go here. All right, and then settings at PY. What's wrong with that? Import in wrong order, what? Oh yeah, of course. Missing returns. Yeah, these are all kinds of not. So that's none. Oh, Blaze, what's going on, dude? Good seeing you. Been lurking from the TV for about an hour while working out. Good, man. It's good to get that workout in. I need to be doing that. I need to be doing that, dude. Yeah, I haven't. I used to work out all the time, and then I started coding. Uh-oh, this isn't right. So it's just, no, it's a bool, it's an int, or a string. Value is a string always, and this could be bool or string, or int. Wonderful. Or anything, object. Just did abs and some push-ups. That's good, man. That's good. Yep. I've definitely gained, but I've gained some belly. That's pretty much all I'm gaining these days. I'm not getting them gains, I can tell you. Pre-commit dash run all files. Okay, good. We're down to 2 linting errors. What do you need? What? Import OS should be before from data classes? Oh, I see. You want some of the import blocks first? You want it like that? Here it doesn't like mock open before patch. Okay, are you happy now? Are you happy? Oh my gosh. Additional new line in group of, fine. This is uglier. Whatever. I selected these linting rules, by the way. It's really quite. I was so strict. I was so strict. This is the Flake 8. Just so if you're curious, this is my Flake 8 set of linting plugins. It's a ton of shit. Coding is what keeps the weight off for me. Yeah, I wish. If coding kept the weight off for me, dude, I'd be ripped. What are you working on today? I'm adding some settings infrastructure to Jack. And so Jack really stands for Jiseki coding language. But yeah, I'm adding some settings infra to that. And right, same feature. And yeah, it's clean. It's clean code, right? So this is like relatively smooth, easy coding because I'm just adding features. I'm not fixing bugs or refactoring, which could be kind of a brain teaser if I'm in the middle of the abstract syntax tree or the parser or something. Those refactors are kind of a doozy. But yeah, this is relatively straightforward. And the cool thing about this infrastructure is ultimately it checks for a config file that's in a hidden directory in your home directory and looks for a set. Now this is going to be a long set of commands, right? Let me just let's make this a little cleaner so I can describe it a little bit better. But basically, if you look at, so this is a good example. So this is MyPy's settings module, and MyPy essentially has all of the command line settings and config file settings are in this one class. These are all the default values for the settings, but one elegant way you can do this is you can essentially let your settings be defined either in a configuration file as environment variables in the OS or as command line arguments. And so I'm creating a little bit of an automated module that's going to check all three of those locations for the same set of parameters. So I just implemented the first version supporting one parameter, which is fuse type info debug. And I added tests for both config file and environment variables, and the precedence is kept. Then I'm going to add the command line argument one, which is going to be really interesting because I'm going to auto-generate the command line arguments, but I have to fuse it into my current overly fancy command line argument generation thing from function signatures. So this is the next phase of the implementation. I'm just committing this because I've got config files and such done and tested, and I just pushed it, so now it's on main. Awesome. Yeah, so that's pretty much what's happening. Test settings. I haven't gotten a good stream in a while, so I wanted to take a few hours and just sit down and hack some cool shit out, All right, so cool. So now we get to the hard part. This is the more involved part because I'm gonna have to marry this. Well, first let me do this. I'm gonna just make sure I cover the code base to get rid of the current kind of hackish this stuff, the current environment variables that are just randomly strewn across the code base. So the reason why this is important to do at this stage of the project's maturity, is the set of parameters have gotten larger and they're ad hoc sprinkled in random places in the code base. So that's not maintainable. Having one centralized place with all of the settings is a must, right, for any kind of sophisticated code base. So hammering through that. Um, let's see. Okay, let's just get rid of all these. We got that init thing. We've got this one here. So this is Jack proc debug. These are temporary ones. These are going to go away. Oh, the configs, are they just for the command line? No. So we can have a config file. So it looks like this. Whoop. Config.ini. So you can have like, so like this setting here could be set here. You know what I mean? And then, yeah, so you can use it here, but I'll also allow it to be set in the, on the command line. So, as well as in environment variables. So all three of those locations will have the same set of settings that could be set. And I gotta add this one. So this is one. You see, these are temporary. These are gonna go away, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So this would be false by default. Yes, exactly. Yes, that's precisely right. So if you want to just configure things like generally, like for instance, one of the flags will be whether or not you run the type checker every time you run a program, let's say. So that's something you might want to just configure Jack to do in general, kind of like a permanent configuration that you can change. So now this is going to be set via, these changes are going to be really, really simple because I just have to do that import. So the same thing we did in test.settings. I just got to take this thing and just put it everywhere. Element PQRS TS. Okay. So then it's, this will turn into settings dot proc jack proc debug. If get is false. What? Why was this false? Why was this false? If we have this hint and oh, this is whether it's set to anything. So we were on the right track. Yeah, this is fine. If both of those are true, then we do this. Okay. So that gets rid of that one. What else we got? Does JackLang happen to have an ability to generate tests or mocks for classes using the type pattern, the type system? Yeah, I know you've been working on this. This is a very interesting technical question. So you want to generate tests. You want to auto-generate tests or mocks for classes using the type system. I'm trying to think of an example of what that looks like. Let's see. Like what? So you want to generate mocks using the type system. I think the thing I'm trying to visualize is how do you know what values you want to mock it with? So you can kind of know the shape of the mock. You could know like, oh, well, this class has four methods that return strings. So you can know the type shape of the mock, but what those strings you might want to mock, I don't. Oh, faker. Yeah, so faker, if I remember correctly, faker will generate fake data in the shape that you want. Mostly strings, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I mean, so I guess my brain is going to a use case where you would generate these mocks uh, like automatically in a way where it will plug into tests as if it could know what the test really needs to accomplish. But you know, next time you stream, you should just let me know when you're gonna stream again, and well, I'll hop into your stream. Show me, dude. Show me next time I hop into your stream, like the problem, like an example of the before and after of the problem being solved. I think that would be super helpful, like to understand that technical challenge. Yeah. So MyPy path. Oh, interesting. This equals. We're setting this environment var. Why are we doing this? So this particular piece of code was contributed by a really sharp dude. But I'm trying to understand what. Oh, is this just MyPy's? Oh, so this is one that you want. We actually want this OS environment because this is informing MyPy of some information, and it looks like we are pointing MyPy to our stubs, the stubs in the project, kind of forcibly pointing it there. So we can ignore that one, and then these are fine. These are in the tests. But these are wrong. So these tests should fail now. Let's validate that these tests fail because I know how to fix them. But these are tests in language. Okay, the test passed, so that's not good. Let's try that again. Those tests. Let me just comment this out and make sure the test doesn't pass with or without it. These tests might be bad tests, because it doesn't look like it needs to do this. Like they pass. What? Oh, this is a these are not good tests. Let me call the dude that contributed them. I gotta start. That's weird though. I don't usually review people's tests that carefully. That this can't be right. Let me see. Test settings on Pi. This is false. Oh. Yes, MyPy is an engine that Jack uses to. MyPy is an engine that Jack uses to as the type checker in Jack is actually. So we reverse engineer MyPy, really. So we took MyPy, we turned it from like a tool into a library by like doing all kinds of magic tricks, and it works. I am shocked that this is. I almost need to go to. Let me see. Git diff. Okay. That's false. This is the only diff. Settings are set. We added that settings thing. Let me print standard out. Oh, you know what? Oh. What? Let me just delete it. I'll just do. Let me just get rid of this. I'm just gonna test needs import. All right. Let's just test this one. Okay, let's do this. Why? Why is that running? Let me just look at the import pass. Else if, let's just do else if false, and it needs to fail. It didn't fail. This one's gonna require a call. Let me see if this. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm at a loss for words. I gotta make a call. I gotta phone a friend. I gotta phone a friend on this one. I'm gonna phone a friend. Let me just bring this back. Let's get rid of this printf. I'm just gonna get the code back to sanity. Oh yeah, cool, man. Thanks for stopping by. Enjoy lunch, and I'll catch you on stream. Settings. So this is all sensible code, and this is reasonableness, and that's all good. Okay, like that's clean. Let's see. Okay. Slack. Is he up? No, he's sleeping. No, I got another buddy. Let's connect. Growth advisor, hilarious, awesome. All right, I'm gonna commit this because this is fine. This is fine and logical. These are all the tests. This is a good PR. I don't have a problem with the PR at all. The changes are fine. But let's let me just do a pie test just to make sure everything passes. Awesome. That is a good session. This is a good session, guys. To everyone who dropped in the stream, who probably also, went and lurked on. Thank you for joining, giving me that boost of encouragement. Go code, get that code in. You got this. That's helpful. Let me see. Let me Slack. All right. Let me see. Chandra. Oh, ePing wants to chat. Hey. I just want to get this committed. Hour and 45 minutes. Sweet. Is this still going? I've got too many tests. Ugh. I mean, I should just let CI/CD do it. GitHub CI do it. I mean, I'm very confident. Yep. Here comes the call. The call we've been waiting for. Let's just add commit. Moving to new settings infra. Yep, the test pass, all is well. Oh, OS import will not use. Where? Yeah, I don't need that shit anymore. Okay. Go, and then git push. And I will be on again soon. Thank you for joining. Chat soon. Laters.